Baywatch, directed by Seth Gordon, not to be mistaken by Seth Rogen, but I can see why you can get confused because their names sound similar, and I mean, look at them. They look pretty identical. Starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Zac Efron, Alexandra Daddario, Kelly Rohrbach, and many more. Now, let me say, I really never watched the show as a kid. I maybe have seen 3 episodes, but I mean, it really wasn't my cup of tea, and plus, it wasn't really for my generation, it was for the generation before me. So going into this movie, I really didn't expect them to stick exactly to the show, and watching the trailer, I knew they weren't going to, and more trying to push for how comedies are nowadays. With over-the-board humor, which could be good thing, like 21 Jump Street, or a bad thing, like Neighbors 2. With this movie, I think it falls in between those two, being good and also bad. So let's talk about the characters. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays Mitch, who is the main lifeguard who likes to go above and beyond what his job calls for as a lifeguard. His character is pretty over-the-top and gung-ho, but I think it works for his character. Zac Efron's character is a washed-up Olympian who is just trying to join the team and prove his worth. He has a pretty big ego, at least in the beginning of the movie. Also, there's a lot of jokes towards Zac Efron's looks in this movie. They like to call him Ken or Abercrombie and Fitch or just other random weird quips and jokes about his looks throughout the whole film. But also, I do think he's the most fleshed out character of the whole bunch. They really do dive more into his backstory, and he kind of seems the more center focused of all the characters, besides Dwayne. Alexandra plays Summer, who's a spunky, fun character, and she also plays with Zach's character, you know, the whole I'm gonna make you like me by the end of this movie type of character. John Bass plays Ronnie. He's the comedic relief of this film. He's the more fat character. I say comedic relief because Zach and Dwayne are also funny in this movie. Don't get me wrong, Ronnie does have a few funny parts in this film. He also has the hots for Charlotte's character, and she plays CJ in this movie, aka the Pamela Anderson of this movie. Last but not least, Il Finesh's character, she plays Stephanie. She's the lead lifeguard, and she's pretty badass in a few scenes in this movie. I do think the characters are good for what they needed to be in this movie. The story in this is pretty basic. The Baywatch team is holding a recruiting tryouts for a bunch of people to join. Ronnie and Matt obviously make it. Also a new wealthy chick, Victoria, who's the big bad in this, comes onto the beach trying to buy out a lot of people. She's pushing drugs, you know. The Baywatch crew finds out, they're trying to stop her, and that's pretty much the basics of the whole story. I didn't think this movie was going to have some crazy story or more fleshed out story. I mean, it's a basic comedy movie, so you really don't need anything more than that generic story. I can say a lot of the scenes with Victoria were kind of boring, and I just wanted them to go back to the fun lifeguard scenes. You could definitely tell they were trying to go with the overboard comedy and action, and it worked sometimes, but other times it kind of fell flat. There were quite a few dick jokes in this movie, and you also do get to see an eggplant, which I was not expecting. The action scenes in this were pretty good, other than some of the fist fight scenes with Dwayne's character. Being Dwayne in it, you would think they'd be a lot better, but for whatever reason, they just weren't as good as they could have been. I just think if this movie fully committed to the over-the-board humor and ditched the semi-serious parts of this film, it would have been a lot better. Also, if you know, Baywatch is all about hot chicks and tight little swimsuits, and you definitely get a lot of that. The lead actresses are all very attractive, and also one of the characters do mention when one of the girls are running that she looks like she's moving in slow motion, which is a nod to the TV shows. Some negatives with this, like I said before, most of the scenes with the big bad seem forced and just boring and not interesting. Also, there was a scene where someone dies that felt very rushed. And also, when they do die, one of the characters doesn't really react like you think they would because they kind of knew the character. And it's just kind of odd and off-putting. Also, there's a scene where you think a romance might be happening with two characters down the road in the movie, but nothing happens. I mean, once it happens, the look on one of the characters' faces, you assume it might, but it never gets revisited later in the movie, which I just thought was odd. Even though the movie was funny, I think it could have added a lot more humor and less of the semi-serious, boring parts. In all, I do think Baywatch was a funny movie. Don't think it's worth watching in theaters, but watching it on Netflix or any other way you can watch it. This is why I give Baywatch a 6 out of 10. If you guys like this review, hit a thumbs up. And if you guys want to see more reviews, hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching.